All right. All right. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to be talking today about discussion for the day. The message for the day is why why does it seem like you're still stuck in that place with the narcissist where it's like you've gotten all the information, you've listened to numerous videos and so forth and so on, but it still hurts, it still bothers you, it still gets under your skin to fully accept and move on. Like, why? Like, you in a lot of ways you're not even wanting them anymore, but there's just something lingering that doesn't allow you to move forward. And I want to discuss something that I've talked about, with a few doctors, outside of this community that's very reputable. And it's two components. And these components is trauma and grieving, right? They're kind of like antonyms in a way, which one undoes the other. And when we go through either, they create certain conditions within us, right? For the most part, any of you who've experienced a narcissist, right, can be altered personality wise to the point of where you are now, if you're one of those that is still stuck and grieving and so forth and so on. Well, stuck at least. Being with a narcissist does several things. A lot of people say, well, there's things where a lot of issues happen in the childhood. Well, that can be so, but think about it. All of you who've went through your narcissistic experience, unless you were a child, you experienced this in intimate setting relationships, so to speak. You were an adult, right? And this particular interaction that you went through changed you, right? It was so traumatic, it altered things within you. You weren't a child. So that shows you that at any stage of any type of trauma can cause these conditions in a person. It doesn't necessarily have to come from being a child, right? Including your ex-narcissist. They could have went through something as an adult or close to an adult also and created the condition that they were in. That's my opinion on that one, at least. Because I see where people that have went through narcissistic interactions with a narcissist, it changes them. It creates trauma. And and the way that it does it is the person it goes through experiencing crushing violations of their boundaries, right? Of yourself, of your belief. Your emotions are attacked and abused in such a way that, and they're criticized, and how the narcissist invalidates you and insults you and all of these things and tricks you and manipulates you and lies to you over and over and over again. The person shuts down, right? The person, starts to go into a different type of state of being. And it happens, the reason why it happens is because regardless of what you do to try to stop the narcissist from doing what they're doing, you try to love them more, right? You try to be more supportive for them. You try to give them, more of yourself to try to offset their ways in being how they are. so that things can run smooth, but nothing you do works. So a sense of helplessness comes over you, and over time the mind begins to tell you that it's not good to be how you are. This is why you hear folks, a lot of people that say, I'm not going to be that way again. I'm never going to do this for a person that I did before. Because there was some and we can't ignore this in people. There was some type of, really traumatic, experience that had a very bad outcome with that person that made them feel, I can't be who I was before. I can't be that. Because when I was that, it got me hurt. It got me played. It got me manipulated. It got me all sorts of things which I did not feel I deserved or was right, etc. You name it. Right? So, you go through thoughts of, wow, the way you feel changes. How you trust people changes. What you trust in changes. Right? All of these experiences with narcissists totally destabilizes the original self that you were as well. You will not be the same after experiencing a narcissist. You will forever be changed at that time. For the moment, for what it is, you're not, there's not going to be anybody who's truly experienced a narcissist that's going to be the exact same way as they went in when they first met the narcissist. No. Because the mindset, the way that you thought about people, interactions, and things will forever be changed. It undoes that. Right? It undoes it because you find out in a different way. You find out that the beliefs that you had, what you thought, they didn't protect you. Some of the things that you may have been given advice on by people that you used in the situation to try to neutralize the attacks and the onslaught of criticism and all this stuff from the narcissist did not do you any good. So you totally throw that out. Now you're becoming a different part of yourself. You don't even notice it, but you became a different part of yourself in so many ways. Because what you were, who you were, is interpreted as a failure. You want to disassociate yourself as much as possible from the old you. Now, I don't want to be the old me. The old me got me played. The old me made me look like a fool. Right? And I think that's the biggest part for a lot of us is, yeah, the pain hurts too, but the other thing we don't take into account is feeling like a complete fool along with a failure, right? That's just as disheartening and hurtful to feel like somebody's jackass. Like, that just doesn't sit well, right? So what happens is the person goes into extreme measures of countering what just went down. Their basic survival, the human basic survivals kick in. And it splits off parts of the old self of who you were before the narcissist. And it tries to be something else, or it shuts down and it goes into, like, that's why I say some people go into hermit mode. They don't want no parts of people. They just they give up on people. They don't want to deal with people or anything like that. Then you also have, you know, where you compartmentalize certain things that happen because it bothers you to the core. It makes you feel like I don't hate to keep saying the word, but you feel stupid because you knew better, right? It's not like you didn't know not to engage in certain things and allow certain things to happen with the narcissist. You knew better, but against your better judgment, you went against it, and that's what gets you, because it's like, damn, I knew this. What the hell? What? I know better. And while we at it, man, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Yeah, make sure you hit the like button, man. And I appreciate you if you do. You know, it's appreciated. Trust me, it really is. But anyway, you're in this state now. You're stuck in this state. Now, the next thing, how do you get out of it, right? And this is what I learned, you know, from discussing with, like I said, professionals, doctors, and you know, the discipline in the field of psychology, is that a lot of times the only way out, trauma in, trauma out. The other opposite, as I said, of trauma is the grieving. But some of us don't allow the grieving process to fully take place because we try to ignore it or push it to the side, like, just because, you know, so many of us is taught to be strong, especially men. Be strong. You that shouldn't affect you. You know, you're a man. Your heart is your heart's supposed to be able to withstand certain hurts and stuff like that. And you push it to the side. And that's not excluding women too. Some of you were raised that way too. And you don't get to fully grieve. And so you're stuck in that state that initiated the trauma. And you're going along still miserable, unhappy, you know, confused, scared for a lot of you. So what does the grieving do? Grieving does the opposite of trauma. And it allows that inner strength. It builds up such a strength to create the right resolve without staying in that shutdown survival mode, right? It starts to allow you to make sense out of all of the hurt, pain, you know, fear, all of those things. Because, you know, in a lot of cases, you know, when it comes to grieving, we block that off because we feel like we feel like that's weak to be grieving, and we feel like you need to bounce out of that. Well, everybody deals with trauma differently, man. Some people are stronger than others. Some people are weaker than others. Some people can't handle seeing certain things or hearing certain things, you know. We all have our, you know, unique individual amounts of tolerances, at least. And so that grieving, when it really comes down, and when a person grieves and allows themselves to feel the full brunt of that pain and everything, it's like digging it up out of the deep, where you've buried it into your subconscious so deep to not deal with it and ignore it, so you don't have to feel, you know, the ridicule, the embarrassment, the hurt, etc. It's still in you. You just buried it. You just, it's like, I'll get to it later. It's like if you have a bunch of bills come in and you put them to the side. You don't want to look at it. The bills haven't went anywhere. You know what I mean? They're still there. It's still going to accumulate. You're still going to get late fees and all these other things. Some impacting your credit and all these other things, right? If you don't deal with it. It's still operating behind the scenes. When you bury stuff and you push it behind, those things are still operating within you behind the scenes. It hasn't went anywhere because we don't address it, because we don't want to deal with bringing the feelings up of how we got there in the first place. But it's important to grieve through it, to go through it so that you can start digging those things up and getting yourself to a point where you can properly address what you went through so that you can heal properly, so that you can get over what you went through with the narcissist and it doesn't impact you as much as before. And according to how you go through it and the support that you have around you and what you do, you can get back to a healthy state again. You'll never 100% be the same before you went in dealing with a narcissist, because you can't unlearn and unexperience things. But you can get to a point of having enough self-assurance and trust in yourself that you'll be able to properly and adequately deal with any other type of situation in the right way to keep you out of harm's way if it should occur again. Anyway, that's been the message for the day, y'all. Make sure you're hitting the like button, share, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you're interested in one-on-one consultation, just email me, or you can click the link and just go and book an appointment. Either way, doesn't matter. Most thing is try to understand and get something out of the message. Until next time, have a good one.